Chapter 7, Constructing Rituals. In this chapter, we look at ritual and its various forms, and you will be shown how to construct rituals for any given purpose. Now, exactly what is a ritual and what does it do? The purpose of any ritual is to help concentrate the mind on the matter at hand. Without some form of ritual, magic is virtually impossible. You have already performed a simple ritual, the opening and closing ritual of the pentagram, and we have elaborated this into the form you have at present. Although I gave you the ritual, you have personalized it by your own thought and action. The inner temple which you have built up is yours, not mine, and this is very important. When dealing with the rituals of others, unless you can personalize them, they are of no value other than from a general interest point of view. Ritual is the very art of magic, and any way that you can improve this is bound to be beneficial. By all means, look at the rituals of others and try to see how they constructed them and why they did and said certain things in a certain order. Do not imitate these and expect results, however. It is the inner thinking that matters. In other words, the work done in the imagination. This can never be written down, so even if you perform someone else's ritual exactly as written, you will be unable to personalize it in the same way. Each one of us is different. No two people will say the same word in exactly the same way with the same feeling or react to a color or scent in identical fashion. A scent may trigger similar ideas in one person as in another, but their reactions will be different due to their own associations. Do two people who read the same book get exactly the same emotional or mental uplift? The answer is, of course, no. So it is with ritual. Any meaningful ritual must be a personal expression of an idea according to personal desires. Given a simple ritual, we will all perform it differently. Remember, you can look at the rituals of others to see how they think. You can even go through the motions and you may learn more, but do not waste time trying to make these work. Far better that you create your own, no matter how simple these may seem by comparison. At least they will be yours. The ability to construct rituals for any purpose is a must for all serious students. For those who wish to study the techniques a little deeper, I can strongly recommend Magical Ritual Methods and Inner Traditions of Magic by W.G. Gray as being excellent guides to this fascinating subject. Excellent examples of rituals are also given in Seasonal Occult Rituals and by Standing Stone and Elder Tree, formerly The Roll Right Ritual by the same author. These are very good examples of group workings concerning the four seasons and natural energies as expressed through the encircled cross pentagram ritual. Kabbalistic rituals are given in the Office of the Holy Tree of Life by W.G. Gray, and a deeper study is contained in The Golden Dawn by Francis Rigardi. Now let us look at the way to construct rituals for all sorts of purposes. You will no doubt remember that your subconscious mind responds to symbols and symbolic ideas. A ritual is a combination of these principles working within the framework of universal symbol. We utilize all available resources that fit into the symbolic pattern, in addition to others that help us focus on the intention and the energy that we are using. In other words, we work in our inner temple, or master symbol, organizing to suit the purpose of the rite. This is done both inwardly and outwardly, as you will see. The first plan of action is to have one main ritual which you alter to suit your needs, rather than having dozens of different ones. The latter course of action only results in confusion and makes concentration difficult due to the fact that there is no common plan. So far, you have been given the basic framework in the opening and closing of the pentagram and the inner temple ritual. This can be developed and adapted for any purpose without the need for lots of equipment or reams of notes. The only time you need different rituals is when you are working with other people. The same principles apply to group workings as they do to our own endeavors. You will have to discuss the framework, the wording, the movements, the ritual attire, and a whole host of related facts. Putting together a group, a lodge, is not an easy task, especially if the workings of that group are to be effective. So often, would-be covens and lodges make the same mistake of reading from the book or throwing together a few chants, songs, or spells taken from all over the place, often without thinking why or what they are doing. People love to band together to form groups, usually due to the fact that there is comfort in numbers. So often the basis of these groups is shaky, to say the least, and can only be classed as social get-togethers under the banner of magic. Before you decide to join a magical group, make sure you scrutinize the group carefully and apply the ideas given in this book. Group workings can be extremely useful, and you can all learn from each other if, as I've said, the basis is sound. In the final analysis, however, it is far better if you work alone. Apart from group rites, there are many others that you will come across, and we will look at these now. First, we have practical rituals. These, as the name implies, are used to get results, and they usually form the majority of rituals. The techniques used have already been described earlier. Practical rituals are concerned with issues like money, health, success, and so on. These are usually personal. That is, you do them for yourself, although you may at times perform them in order to help others. Next, we come to informative rites. In this case, the ritual is used as a basis for meditation or contemplation on an important subject. If there is something that you wish to know, use a ritual. You will get far better results than trying to solve the problem in the normal way. Under this heading, you can also put divination. There is a great deal of difference between divination and fortune-telling. It is a science, and as such, it is best performed under ritual conditions. We now move to dedication rites. These special rites are used to consecrate, charge, or bless ritual items. There is a lot to be said for this idea. The dedication of a ritual object is a declaration that it is special or magical. Remember, of course, that the magic is in you and not the object. What you're actually doing is attaching special importance to the object, which sets it aside from mundanity. In a way, you have already done this with your bottle of water and the bowl. In reality, these are just plain, ordinary articles. Working with them as suggested has made them special. They are reserved for magical use, and your mind is attuned to this fact. Think about the difference between this and just leaving them lying around. You know we are going to keep magical equipment away from everyday life and treat it as special, even if you do not perform a ritual to enhance it. Now, initiatory rites. So much has been said and written about initiations. Today's lodges and covens have a fetish for this. According to them, if you are not initiated, then you do not belong. To initiate means to start. Where would you like to start? Your answer is probably on the path to personal success and realization of your true potential as an individual. The true path is one of self-initiation. Now let us move to the actual components of a ritual. Every ritual must have a symbolic basis. You already have this in the form of the pentagram ritual together with your own inner temple. We have developed this pattern through ritual and symbolic linking into a perfect base for further development. Let us now develop it further. Always bear in mind that any outer action, such as words and movement, must be backed up by symbolism and inner thinking whenever possible. Before you include anything in your rites, think about it first, and whenever possible, use your imagination to aid contact with your subconscious mind. This, after all, is the sole purpose of the exercise, to get subconscious response. In the construction of a rite, you may use whatever comes to mind as long as it is thought out. Rites can be as simple or as elaborate, as long or as short as you like. It is entirely up to you. There are many possibilities that you can utilize, and here are some of them. From a psychological point of view, we have two important modes of expression and contact with life. These are mental and emotional. In magical terms, these are known as hermetic and orphic. The hermetic way, named after the Greek god Hermes, is to use the mind and logic. The orphic way, named after the Thracian poet Orpheus, uses the emotions. A good ritual contains a balance of the two. A purely hermetic rite, with its complex and clever ideas and symbolic overtones, is, putting it plainly, quite boring. The totally orphic rite is likely to descend into emotional indulgence. In any case, not many people can work wholly hermetically or orphically with success. Balance is the thing. Plan your rites, think about them, and then during the rite, let the emotions come to play. Trying to describe the emotional content of the rite is like trying to describe the color red to a blind man. It will suffice to say that you should try to feel the words and actions that you make. Magic without feeling is not good. The emotional content can usually be brought in by using verse and, of course, music. Words are a useful source of ritual material, providing that they have been thought about. The words should be tailored to suit the intention and should express the intention as clearly as possible. Not only will they serve as a reminder of what you are doing, but also you can put feeling into them, and you can apply imaginative thinking while you are using them. This inevitably brings us to words of power. The mistaken belief is that if you utter these words, for example, God names, then miracles will happen, or some archangel or lesser spirit will rush to your aid. This is nonsense. Yet, strangely enough, the belief persists due to lack of thinking. It is not what is said, but the way that you say it. Here's an example from 2 points of view. Taking the archangel of fire from Kabbalistic lore, we could face south and say, as many do, O great archangel Michael, Lord of fire, shine thy light upon my true purpose, and so on. This would have about as much effect as saying abracadabra. Why? Because the inner working is missing, and, besides, you could do much better with the wording. If you're going to deal with the archangel of fire, then treat it as such. Remember that this is a talismanic, an image that you are going to use as a focus. It does not exist in its own right, and it certainly cannot control you. Bearing this in mind, you now have a useful point of contact with the element of fire. This time, face the south and say something like, Archangel Michael, thy champion of right and reason, directing fire according to my creative needs, illuminate the pathway of soul with fire, according to natural laws. Be thy light and warmth, my steady companion throughout this ritual. While saying this, feel the power and heat of the enormous reserves of elemental fire and, more importantly, use your imagination. See the archangel towering high in the sky, dressed in red and gold, bearing a spear with a brilliant shining tip. He smiles warmly and willingly controls his natural element on your behalf. Feel the presence and know that nothing harmful can ever get past him. He controls and you direct. Now, can you see the difference? A talismanic has been used to good effect, and not only have you used words, you have backed these up with feeling and imagination. With little practice, you can soon learn this technique, and it will make a world of difference to your rituals. Michael has now become a word of power. With practice, the uttering of this name will bring the image and the feeling to life. It is far better to use words sparingly, which have been thought about, than to have pages of script. Words are only as powerful as you make them. When constructing a ritual, make use of anything and everything which is relevant to the purpose of the ritual. Exactly what you use is a matter of choice, but here are some further suggestions which you can think about. A ritual is used to focus the mind, so anything which helps concentration is valuable. You have 5 senses, and each one reacts to stimuli and can therefore be worked with. For example, the sense of sight. The use of color is strongly recommended in all ritual work. Certain colors have special meanings attached to them, and without going into complexities, here are the main ideas. The traditional colors allotted to the elements are yellow for air, red for fire, blue for water, and green for earth. The center is gold or white. Try to work these colors into the temple by perhaps using colored candles or paraffin oil lamps. Small altar cloths, pennants, or banners could also be used on the quarters. Not only does this look good, but it also helps to create a different, more organized effect. And of course, you can see exactly which quarter you are facing at any time. The planets, which will be discussed later, are very important. The traditional colors are as follows. The sun is gold or yellow, the moon is silver or violet, Mercury is orange, Venus is green, Mars is red, Jupiter is blue, Saturn is black, Neptune could be gray, Uranus white, and Pluto ultraviolet. An inexpensive way of incorporating these colors into your temple is by using a set of colored candles. The appropriate candle can be placed on the central altar when needed. You could also vary the color of the altar cloths, or for sake of economy, have one main altar cloth of whatever color you like, which you vary by using a narrow strip of colored cloth. This could be laid across the altar. Again, you could vary the color to suit the planetary energy being used. The sense of touch is brought into play by the feel of the equipment and the robes. To an experienced ritualist, touch and feel are important points of contact and are used to maximum effect. At the beginning, it is not easy to describe this, but nevertheless, it is an avenue well worth exploring. The sense of hearing is easily stimulated by sound effects, music, and the sound of your own voice. This is one reason why every temple ought to have facilities for sound reproduction. You do not need an elaborate stereo system. Anything reasonable will do. Rituals without music are very dull affairs, so every attempt to find suitable music should be made. A collection of suitable pieces ought to be kept especially for magical work. The choice is entirely yours. Classical and early English music works quite well. Some of you may prefer the sound of the church organ. Smell is easily catered to. Joss sticks or incense cones should be used liberally in a permanent temple to help produce an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. The use of incense is very important in all rituals. I have already described the association that correct scent can bring to mind. You can either use one or two favorite incense of a general nature for all your rites, or if you feel like branching out, the purchase of incenses that are specifically made for your rituals are to be recommended. Let me assure you that it is well worth the expense. There is a whole world of magic in scent. Taste, which is related to smell, can of course be catered to by drinking and eating. All seasonal and naturalistic rituals use some sort of food or drink, and this is an excellent use of the sense of taste. However, there are other ways of doing this, and a little ingenuity will suggest these to you. As you can see now, putting together a ritual is quite a complex affair. There are many avenues of thought and many possibilities. Just as no two people think the same way, no two magicians will produce the same ritual for a given purpose. A meaningful ritual is a personal expression of intention. Now you can see why the rituals of others are of little value. Some are quite useless as they have no symbolic basis. It is you who must build up your pentagram ritual and inner temple in your own way, using them as a basis for development. It is you who must construct rites to suit your own purposes. The individual approach may seem difficult at first, and you may have to spend time thinking and planning. You are bound to make mistakes, but equally, you are bound to learn if you make the effort. Not everyone becomes an expert ritualist in a few weeks. Your rituals do not have to be wondrous works of wisdom. Do not measure your rites by the standards of others unless you are doing this with a view to improving your own work. Imitation will get you nowhere. It is your ritual, your ideas, and your reactions that will get results. The guidelines for constructing rituals are quite simple. 1. Have a symbolic base from which to work. You already have this in the opening and closing ritual of the pentagram, encircled cross, with its inner temple. The more you work with this pattern, the more you develop your inner temple and magic circle. With regular use and meditation, the better will be all subsequent rituals. 2. The purpose of a ritual dictates how you perform the ritual. Before you start any rite, plan it out, working in as many symbolic ideas and physical representations as you think necessary. There is no need for lots of equipment. Only include that which is really necessary and that which you have thought about. 3. Always remember the inner work in the imagination. Use this as much as possible. 4. Rituals must have 3 stages: opening, the actual work, and closing. Rituals without these 3 stages are not only troublesome, they are generally unworkable. 5. Unless you are used to the format, rehearse it. This will help you to spot any problems before they occur, leaving you free to concentrate fully on the purpose of the ritual. Practice makes perfect. 6. Design the ritual to fit the purpose and the circumstances. For instance, there is not much point in constructing a 2-hour ritual just for the sake of crystal scrying. By the same token, do not rush through a 10-minute ritual to cure some illness. Here are 2 examples to show you the sort of thinking that should go into a ritual. Let us say that you are going through a period of rushing around. There does not seem to be enough hours in the day. The phone keeps ringing, and there are bills overdue. In short, life is a shambles. You are learning about practical magic, so stop and use your abilities to put things right. Obviously, what is needed is some peace and quiet and the establishment and restoration of harmony. Instead of bothering about what is going wrong, attack the cause generally. Later on, by using the planets, you can be much more specific, but for now, generalize. In fact, if in doubt, slow things down by using rituals of a general nature. This will give you time to find out where the real problems lie. A ritual to promote harmony is required. Use the opening and closing ritual of the encircled cross, pentagram, right, as the basis and alter this to suit the idea of harmony. For a start, use low lights, sweet-smelling incense, and quiet music. In fact, anything that conforms to the idea of harmony. By thinking about this while planning out your ritual, you are already beginning to change things by altering your thinking. Your subconscious mind is already responding in hidden ways. A good plan of action would be as follows. Having laid out the temple, spend some time relaxing, then open the temple in the normal way. The next thing to do is to open the 4 quarters, so that power can leave your magic circle and inner temple to go out into the world and do what you require of it. Using suitable words and gestures, see in your imagination a doorway in the east. Visualize the magical sword and direct the doorway to open. Do the same with the other quarters, using the appropriate weapons. Move to the center and use the bowl. Again, with words and gestures, see the problem being washed away. Dip your fingers into the bowl if you like. The next step is to direct the waters to bring harmony into your life. Again, use words, gestures, and in your imagination, see the water filled with power and feel the energy going out through the doorways. Use your pool music to help with this. At the end of this, reverse the procedure by calming the water and closing the doorways. Finally, close down the temple in the customary fashion and make any notes. For something less important, use a smaller ritual. For instance, let us suppose you like to read tarot cards. Before starting, relax. Then perform the opening ritual of the pentagram in your mind. Then use the cards. Afterward, perform the closing ritual. With a little practice, you will find that this has a very beneficial effect on your readings. Remember how everything inside the magic circle is perfect. You are controlling your environment and opening your intuitive channels inside the magic circle, so the results are bound to be better. Read this over and over again, and use these principles to improve the rituals that you already have. Think about them and personalize them. Alter them to suit you. You will find in the practical work of this chapter a useful extension of the master ritual. It involves the systematic use of the 4 elements. All that you have to do is open your temple in the normal manner. Include the bowl if you wish. You can sit down and do this as a seated meditation, or you can move to each quarter in turn, finally finishing in the center. When ready, switch on your music, if you have decided to use this. The exercise is another magical journey, this time through the 4 elements, concluding at the center. However, unlike the previous journey, which was, if you like, geographical, this is symbolic and concerns the opening of the 4 elemental doorways by means of words and music. No images are given. You are left to do as you please. See Figure 5. The main use of this exercise is to help you to attune to the elements, as this is a vital step before we move on to the planets. You cannot know the planets until you know the elements, because the planets are ready-made combinations of the elements. You will find many uses for this exercise. As a means of relaxing and experiencing the 4 elements, it is excellent. Just relax and see what impressions come to mind. Try to feel the elements as they are invoked. It can also be used to get answers to questions, whether these be everyday problems or magical ones. Formulate your question and keep this in mind throughout the rite. Answers will come often in natural ways at some later time. It does not always follow that answers will occur during a rite, so do not be disappointed. Trust your inner power. It will never let you down. Alternatively, this exercise can be used to back up your previous work in getting physical results. Use the rituals given. Try to feel the elements responding to your desire. When you get to the pool, which is part of the exercise, use the bowl. At the end, close down in the customary fashion and switch off your music. The magic of the 4 elements. Here are some of the ritual uses for the 4 elements. 1. The element of air governs dawn, springtime, and intelligence, and is used in all rituals symbolizing new beginnings, healing, travel, learning, writing, recording, communications, illusions, and most magical operations aimed at persuasion. 2. The element of fire governs noon, summertime, and idealism, victory in just conflicts, entertainments and enjoyment, love, gold, riches, and all kinds of luxuries and symbols of power and status. 3. The element of water governs dusk, autumn, and the emotions, especially concerned with cleansing and both invoking and banishing, childbirth, shipping, the health of women, discouraging unwelcome guests, growing and harvesting crops, and all forms of moon magic. 4. The element of earth governs night, winter, and all the practical material aspects of life, the home, mining, and minerals, and also the discovery of hidden treasures and all kinds of monetary gain. These lists of elemental uses are not complete by any means, and you should endeavor to formulate your own list of meanings for the elements. Elemental ritual. Light central candle. Opening formula, encircled cross, pentagram ritual. Erect the magic circle and pentagrams. Enter the inner temple, and then standing before your altar facing east, say, I am that I am. I am that which I will to be. As I think, so I am, and through thought shall I be that which I wish to be. Thought is creative, and thinking produces things. So now, I think into existence that which I desire shall be. Power is abundant, there are no limits. Power is given freely, there is no lack. By birthright do I claim this power. I can be, do, or have anything which I desire. And so with abundant energy and creative thoughts do I now bring into being that which I truly desire. Be it known that my desire is state intention. Power is born out of eternity and conforms to the fourfold pattern of the elements. Let the elemental doorways be opened. Move to the east. See door. Before me stands the portal of east, bearing the symbol of the sword. I now declare this doorway open, so that my energies of air may flow freely according to my intentions and directions. See the door opening to reveal the element of air, yellow energy pouring through the door, or go through the door. Spend some time experiencing and attuning to the element. Let this happen as your music is playing. Do this with all the other elemental doorways also. Move to the south. See the door. Before me stands the portal of south, bearing the symbol of the wand, rod, or spear. I now declare this doorway open, so that my energies of fire may flow freely, according to my intentions and directions. See the red energy of fire pouring in through the door. Move to the west. See the door. Before me stands the portal of west, bearing the symbol of the cup. I now declare this doorway open, so that my energies of water may flow freely according to my intentions and directions. See the blue energy of water pouring in through the door. Move to the north. See the door. Before me stands the portal of north, bearing the symbol of the shield. I now declare this doorway open, so that my energies of earth may flow freely according to my intentions and directions. See the energy of the earth pouring in through the door. Move back to the center facing east. Power comes from within my silent center, emerging as the waters of life and the fountain of eternal sustenance. Now do I freely give all that is no longer of value. Be it declared that all doubts, fears, and unwanted thoughts be consigned to the gentle waters, leaving me free to foresee my rightful call. Eternal waters of life, as I declare my desire, may great energies which are needed to accomplish my goal flow freely into physical existence. To this, my earthly symbol of the pool. May energies pour forth through the elemental doors, touching all that must respond. Waters flow, power grows, born of light, eternal right, through my symbol of this bowl responding freely to my goal. from the center through each door of elemental power 4, turning to reality that which shall surely be. Be it declared that my desire is, state intention. Direct your attention towards the central pool. The main body of work is now carried out using the pool. This is also a good time to burn incense. At conclusion, closing formula. My work is done, and now with complete trust in my inner power do I return to normal life, with the knowledge that all will be as I desire. Let the waters be still and calm, and let there be peace. Be the elemental doors now closed and secured. Extinguish the eastern candle, see the door close. Let there be peace to the east and the element of air. See the sword disappear. Extinguish the southern candle, see the door close. Let there be peace to the south and the element of fire. See the wand disappear. Extinguish the western candle, see the door close. Let there be peace to the west and the element of water. See the cup disappear. Extinguish the northern candle, see the door close. Let there be peace to the north and the element of earth. See the shield disappear. Let there be peace all around and within. Leave the inner temple by the door. Close down magic circle and pentagrams in the customary fashion and extinguish the central candle.